With his win at Unadilla, Pro Circuit Kawasaki's Dean Wilson has assumed control of the points lead.
A big turnaround in the series as Dean Wilson comes in with the points lead and extends it by going 1-1 at Unadilla.
While bad starts and bad luck struck his nearest competitors, the likable Scotsman went 1-1, earning his first overall victory since the 2010 season finale. With only 3 rounds remaining in the 2011 season, the 250 class comes to MX 338. Who will conquer the sands of Southwick?
It's round 10 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship from MX 338, the Rockstar Energy Drink Southwick National, as Speed's coverage of the 250 class of this tour continues on a very rainy day here in the Northeast. Let's give you the highlights here of Moto number 1. An all-international show in this one. Off the start, it's going to be the number 387 of Gareth Swanepoel. Going to grab the lead here in the Yamaha. Knifes to the inside and leads everyone around. A bunch of other riders down in the very tight first turn here in the sand of Southwick.
Yeah, riders were down everywhere, and you notice the 66 there on the inside, the yellow gear. Jimmy Dakota's local boy goes into second place and then over the bars.
Ouch, and that would knock Dakotas out of this moto. This Dean Wilson, your series points leader, going after the 245 of Lance Vincent, who was up front early. This will put Wilson up in the number 3 spot behind his teammate Tyler Rattray, who was second, and Swanepoel, who continued to hold the lead. A crash for Kyle Cunningham, one of the top riders in this series. Been very consistent as of late, but a tough race for him. Here we go, Rattray in second, gonna go to first, challenging his fellow South African Swanepoel, and takes the lead.
Puts the charge on, and for a moment, it looked like Rattray was gonna take this all the way to the checkered flag. Then he stalls the engine. The bike is coasting, and he finally gets it going. But Swanepoel comes around the outside to put the Yamaha into first place.
And you see Wilson right there as well. So we had 3 riders battling for the lead late in this moto. But from there on out, Swanepoel pulled away. The Cali boys this time couldn't do anything with him, and he wins his first ever moto in the U.S. And this guy is well respected. Even Wilson, who finished third in that moto, congratulates Swanee on taking the win. That's his first win ever in the U.S. That's his team's first win ever in AMA Motocross. So congratulations to him. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Jason Wygant, of course, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig for what has been a wild day so far at Southwick. Let's give you the big picture storylines we'll be following throughout today's race. Well, first, we already highlighted one of them. Gareth Swanepoel taking the Moto 1 win. Can he back it up and win the overall? You got to be consistent through 2 races in one afternoon to be the afternoon's overall winner in this series. Swanepoel putting himself in position to do that. Meanwhile, Dean Wilson is your series points leader. He won at Unadilla at our last race 2 weeks ago. Can he back that up? Third in the first moto, a solid run in Moto 2. He might just have 2 straight overall wins and further extend that points lead. Tyler Rattray wants to stop that from happening. He needs to close back in on Wilson. As for Blake Baggett, another tough finish in Moto 1 for him. He is losing points much like Rattray very quickly, so it is not going to be easy for anyone to track down Wilson. However, if there is a race and there is a track that could potentially stall the championship momentum for Dean Wilson, it is this track at Southwick, which has already handed out a whole bunch of heartbreak in our previous motos so far today. So Wilson, there are no guarantees for him.
Yeah, but Wilson, he was a self-proclaimed bad sand rider, all that, doesn't like the sand, turned in a great performance, a championship-type performance the first moto. But I tell you, Mother Nature stepped in. It stopped raining for the moment, but you can see that there's quite a bit of water on the track, and if it starts to rain again, it's going to get really sloppy again.
All right, let's welcome the 3rd member of our show onto the show with a progressive pre-race report. It's Aaron Bates.
It's been nothing but tough luck for Brock Tickle so far this season, and he said coming in after a disappointing weekend in Unadilla that he considers this a 3-race series. These final 3 rounds are where he needs to make it count. He mentioned that to Mitch Payton, and Mitch said that's the team manager of Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Said, great plan, but what happened to the 12-round plan? So they're kind of joking about it, but they also understand there's been a lot of unfortunate incidents and circumstances that have taken place, but he just got a 5th place result in that first moto, and he wants to finish this day off strong.
Yeah, and that 5th place, it wasn't like he got the whole shot and faded to 5th. He started around 20th and worked his way all the way past Baggett and through all the other riders up to 5th. So today, Tickle is on the gas, and he has found some sort of drive here at Southwick.
And on this rough track, a 5th in Moto 1, you backed it up in Moto 2, you could win the overall.
One moto is in the books from Southwick. 40 hopefuls head to the gate to do it all over again. Jason, Jeff, and Aaron are ready for 30 minutes plus 2 laps of racing from the toughest track in motocross when the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship returns to Massachusetts.
Welcome back to the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship coverage here on Speed. Let's give you the 411 and show you how these races break down. We've been talking quite a bit about Moto 1 and Moto 2. That's because each weekend in this series we race twice. Each race lasts 30 minutes and 2 laps, and then we total up the scores from both races to determine an overall winner. In case we have a tie between those 2 motos, the better score in Moto 2 breaks that tie. So that's the format. Let's give you data of the track. Brought to you by Kawasaki and the 2012 KX450F, fully equipped and race ready. Give us a ride here, Jeff.
Well, I can tell you, when this track is dry, it's sandy and fluffy, and it's got these big sand berms. But today, quite a bit of moisture. Track is extremely rutted. It's really choppy. There's water holes in certain spots. A couple of dry lines. Might be a little bit one-lined here at the beginning of this moto. But with the guys making some passes, it should open up. And as long as the skies don't open up, I think we'll be all right. But if we get more moisture than what we have now, it's going to be really nasty by the end of this moto.
All right, that's the graphical perspective. Let's show you what it looks like on the motorcycle, courtesy of GoPro. Jeff?
Kyle Cunningham, DNA Shred Sticks Yamaha, found himself taking a little sand sample twice in Moto 1, so his objective is going to be to keep it on 2 wheels here for Moto 2. But you can see this is really what it looks like unless you pull a tear off or you pull the roll off. See how much the water distorts your vision.
Let's give you the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race. What do you need to do to go fast at Southwick, well, Mr. 4-time champ?
I'm going to scratch this off and say great start.
Okay.
Let's see who can get it.
Oh, one of the riders from the outside tried to make it happen and nearly pulled it off. It's one of the Geico Honda men. Not going to happen. It's the 46 of Amart, Alex Martin on the 1110 mods. Honda has got the whole shot. He's got Rattray and Dakotas. And Dakotas in the 66 takes the line from Rattray, then loses the spot right back.
Loses 2 spots as Dean Wilson is second. How about Alex Martin put in some strong rides? He was 10th in Moto 1, grabs the whole shot here in Moto 2.
Yeah, he has really come on strong the last 3 or 4 races. That is the 19 of Tomac, your fastest qualifier down.
Is that Baggett or no, it's Tickle. After a 5th in Moto 1, Tickle is down off the start with Seeley and Tomac and I believe a Yamaha rider there.
That might be one of the Star Racing Yamaha riders. That was Seeley down in the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda. Bad luck there for Tomac, your fastest qualifier. Said the only thing that's missing, actually both Tickle and Tomac told me today, their whole problem all season long has just been starts. They're even worse than ever now.
Well, just a few moments ago, we saw Ryan Dungey on the 450 put in an incredible ride after not even making it to the gate. So a great effort. Tickle is fast enough to get inside the top 10. So is Tomac if they can regroup.
How about this? Alex Martin from Millville, Minnesota. Yes, the same Millville, Minnesota that hosted a round of this series a few weeks ago, and he rode well there. And of course, everyone starts to speculate, it's a home track advantage, his parents own the place. But he has backed up those results the last couple of weeks in Washington, then in upstate New York, and here he is, top 10 in Moto 1 at Southwick and leading here in Moto 2.
Well, and the soil is very similar at Millville to here. A little bit more hard pack, but there is some sand sections and the creek sections with the sand whoops. Of course, it rains quite a bit up there. They get a lot of moisture, so this type of terrain and the conditions here today, not going to be so foreign for Alex Martin. What is foreign is for him to be running up front in an AMA motocross event. He really has no experience being up front like this, but what a great moment for the 46.
What a lead he's opened up. 3.5 seconds on the first lap. And that's over Rattray and Wilson. two of your front runners in the series. So Martin is on the gas right now.
And
Swanepoel is fifth behind Dakotas.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great battle for the overall here today, because Rattray was second behind Swanepoel, and then Wilson was third. And all three of those riders are inside of the top 5 at the moment.
Good to see Dakotas able to salvage something here after crashing out early in Moto 1. Here he is up front in Moto 2. He is, of course, a home boy because Peabody, Massachusetts is home for him. Grew up at this track. A lot of people cheering him. There is Swanepoel in position right now, top 5. So he's got an opportunity to go out and win this moto as well.
And Jason, I believe I found out who that Yamaha rider was, the Star Racing Yamaha rider that was possibly down with Tickle and Tomac. Audet, who was 4th in the first moto, a career best, now sits way back in 33rd.
And then here is 6th, Ryan Morris. Yes, Ryan Morris back in action. Had to get hip surgery after Supercross, only returned to racing at her last event at Unadilla. And behind him, Ryan Sipes. Yes, Ryan Sipes, who we lost for a few weeks with an illness. Turned out he had a low blood sugar, changed his diet, took a month off to rest, now back in action. And here is Justin Bogle right behind him, the new kid on the block. That's NKOTB, if you're cool.
And if you're not cool.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just really hurt myself there.
Bogle was 18th the first moto, and just had a spectacular first race of his career a couple weeks ago at Unadilla. But now he's getting a real taste of what the professional ranks is all about. And I remember when I moved up, you realize that in the amateur ranks, maybe racing a couple of kids that have some talent and some speed. But at this level, there's veterans in this class that are trying to earn money to pay the mortgage, buy baby shoes, you know, whatever.
He's going by Sipes, making the move. So a lot better for Bogle this time than that 18th in Moto 1, like you mentioned. Here he is. That should move him up to 7th. And behind them, the KTM of Marvin Muscian, who we have not talked about much this year. But there he is, making the move on Sipes as well. Just trust us that that's Marvin. I know the bikes are completely covered at this point. The numbers, the colors, virtually unrecognizable. But we have X-ray vision. Just take our word for it. That is Muscian, who is certainly no stranger to riding in the mud and in the sand after all his years riding in Europe. So we'll see what Marvin can do with a good start today at Southwick. Meanwhile, Alex Martin leading and pulling away. Or catch other regional action. That's right, coverage begins Sunday, September 11th with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL pregame show, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Dean Wilson here in the number 3 spot, Tyler Rattray 2nd, and Alex Martin leading the way. Jimmy Dakota's 4th, Gareth Swanepoel 5th. How about this kid, Alex Martin? So far, so good. The bad news for him, countdown clock, top of the screen, 23 minutes and 2 laps left in this moto. That is going to feel like an eternity to Amart.
Yeah, and Alex Martin, last time around, was at a 2:15.1. He was a little bit quicker than Rattray, about a half a second. But this time around, it's not going to be the case because they come by. Martin's a 2:17.4, Rattray a 2:13, so quite a bit faster.
And Rattray now looking to make moves, looking to go to the lead. It's the man that won the overall at this race last year, wants to make it 2 in a row. He finished 2nd in our first moto earlier today. He is 2nd now. He's trying to get around Martin. And there he goes to the inside. No, Martin gonna hold off. And we've mentioned this all year with Martin's team, this 11-10 mod squad. Full privateer effort there on a shoestring budget. He just lost the lead though to Rattray. Still a solid effort for the 46. But Rattray's so experienced, so strong, and so confident in these conditions.
And he is so fast. He was at 2:13.8. The next fastest lap was a 2:16 by Bogle. Everyone else is a 2:17 or higher. So basically, 3 to 4 seconds a lap faster than anybody else on the track.
Wilson getting bucked around there on what is a very rough track. He is in 3rd, doing what he does, staying consistent and scoring solid championship points. That's why he's got the red plate on the bike. He is your series leader. Dakotas is 4th, Swanepoel 5th. So Swanepoel, if he wants to win the overall, the race beginning to slip away from him as far as that is concerned now that Rattray has taken over the lead. And Bogle is 6th.
Yeah, but I tell you, just behind Wilson here is James Dakotas, who we saw in that highlight of the first moto, had that really bad get-off when he went over the bars about a quarter of the way through the first lap. Now, here he is, Jimmy Dakotas running 4th here at his home race.
What a lot of people forget about Dakotas, last year was his rookie pro season, and then he missed the first 8 races this year with an injury, so he's pretty new to the scene as well. Here comes Swanepoel, your first moto winner. He is in 5th. Solid performance.
Yeah, and Swanepoel is going to have some company because Justin Bogle.
Swanepoel goes down. So Bogle going to move into the top 5 again.
Bogle is flying, Rattray is flying. Basically, everyone else inside the top 6 or 7 is at about a 217.
And Jason Anderson temporarily made the pass on the 156, but then Swanepoel got him back. Signs of life here the last few weeks from Anderson, who has had a very rough rookie campaign. Starting to turn it around here with some top 10 at least speed. It's a tough time finishing the races. Here he is going to work on Swanepoel around the outside.
And 1 lap ago, here we go.
Not going to back off either one of them.
1 lap ago, Anderson is 10th, comes across the stripe in 8th, almost 7th. So Anderson almost picking up 4 spots in 1 lap. Jason Anderson is totally on the gas.
And he's got one of his teammates right with him. That's the 71 of Morris on that Rockstar Suzuki. Anderson was your AMA Horizon Award winner. That's the award the AMA gives out at the end of the amateur season to the rider they believe has the most promise as a pro. Bogle's the one that got that award this year, has already made an impact. Anderson still waiting for his moment. Getting better here as he goes after Swanepoel. And Swanepoel had a crash, got back up. How difficult is that to do in the rain, the mud, the sand? Is the bike slippery? Your hands get mud on them? What happens there?
Yeah, a little bit of all that, but the main thing is what's happening inside of his head right now is that, you know, the gremlins start to creep in and negative thoughts, and he's got to keep focused right now, keep trying to work his way forward, try to get his first overall. He's got the first moto win, but you know, those negative thoughts just creep their way in there, and the best guys have the ability to limit that, to fight off those negative thoughts.
Well, to give you an idea for Anderson, who's having such a tough summer, his team actually sent him home and said, go home and train for a month. You said it many times, you can't gain fitness in 5 days. If you go hard during the week between races, you're only going to make things worse. You'll be tired for the race. So they sent him home, put a good baseline training program in, and he has been stronger ever since. Get those negative thoughts out of there. Here is the 71 of Morris, who unfortunately has missed a lot of outdoor races the last couple of years with injuries. So good to see him back in the top 10. Ryan Sipes will round out the top 10. Dr. Seuss National Memorial Sculpture Garden not far from us here at Southwick. Of course, this is when we had better weather yesterday. Real nice part of the country to come visit. Hopefully we'll have better weather on race day next year and you can come visit us. Here's your leader, Tyler Rattray, beginning to pull away just a bit here in this second moto at Southwick, Massachusetts. Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross National. Already the roughest track of the year because it's covered in sand, has gotten even tougher because Hurricane Irene has begun to become a factor in motocross. I don't know which rider she's a fan of, but she seems to be helping Tyler Rattray because the rougher the track conditions, the better it is for this guy as he is marching away from the field. We're about halfway through this one.
Well, I tell you, Rattray won his first moto here a couple of years ago, won his first overall here last year. And I know as a rider, I always look forward to coming back to those tracks where you had won at and you get the good vibrations going. But let's take a look at some replays.
Jimmy Dakotas, who is running and challenging for a podium, goes down, lost a few spots. That's a 71 of Morris right with him. So now he is in 8th after running in 4th. So that'll bump Bogle up to the number 4 position as Rattray continues to lead. His lead is 5 seconds over Alex Martin. So that's still an impressive run for Martin, who's in 2nd. I mean, to beat Rattray on this track is a tall order. For Martin, you put the privateer bike up on the podium, doing something right.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's about 5 seconds ahead of Wilson right now, who's in 3rd. Bogle's moved up to 4th. Swanepoel's still in 5th.
And a lot of credit for that 1110 mods privateer Honda team has gone to Darren Durham, who is running in 12th right now, but Martin might better Durham's best finish of the year. Meanwhile, Aaron has a very unhappy, I'm sure, Ryan Sipes down in the pits. Aaron?
That's right, you guys. Blood sugar levels are not Ryan Sipes' only problem at this time. Ryan, can you take us through what went on out there and why you're in the pit right now?
I don't know, something's messing my stomach about the puke.
It could be the possibility that everybody down here is eating facefuls of sand. He's not the only guy that we've seen throw up today, so I think we're going to give him a moment.
Well, it's a bad position to be in right there because it's so physically demanding, you know, and obviously he's got something going on, you know, with his health that they do not have figured out. He's missed some races this year because of it.
Yeah, it could just be face full of sand, though, like Aaron was saying.
I'm going to get off that shot just in case he actually, you know,
yeah, back to something here
put some sand back on the track.
Yeah,
is what he's looking to do.
Well, Rattray, man, was so close to winning Moto 1, but he's going to back it up here if he can finish off 13 minutes plus 2 laps. But you can see he's riding the track effortlessly. He is doing everything right. And riders, when they come here to Southwick, everybody talks about flow. Now, what is flow? That's when you're hitting your lines, when you're not using a lot of energy, you're keeping your momentum up. Alex Martin is doing the same thing. This could be his best career moto finish.
Yeah.
If he can stay in second place.
And what's impressive, I mentioned before that Darren Durham has really been the star for that team, but the best finish Durham has had this year is a 4th. So Durham could be the one, or sorry, Martin could be the one to deliver that bike to the podium, but a long way to go. You got Dean Wilson in 3rd, and this has been Wilson's MO this year. He has just been solid, moto after moto. He has only finished off the podium in 2 motos this year. And in contrast, did a little research, the Racer X bench race ammo last year, champion of the 250 class, Trey Kennard, missed the podium in 10 out of 24 motos. This year so far, Wilson has only missed the podium twice. He is like all-time level consistency right now.
Yeah, he's coming into this event, he had 7 moto wins and only 1 overall. But he did have an average moto finish of 2.28.
Wow.
Which is pretty good. And the next best was Baggett with a 3.3. But Baggett's had 2 bad motos here today.
Let's talk about this kid, Bogle, backing it up. Tough performance in Moto 1, but it is no fluke, apparently, his speed as he is strong here 4th in Moto 2. Aaron, what do you hear on the 891?
I asked him this morning what it was like to get the nerves shaken off of making his pro debut at Unadilla, and he said he doesn't feel like a lost little kid looking for his mom today. He says he knows where he needs to go, he knows where he needs to be, he knows what's happening, and on race day it's important to know when to eat and when to drink, but the biggest thing is trying to stay calm, stay focused on an upset stomach and get through all the nervousness. He said this weekend he is able to focus a lot easier than he was at Unadilla.
Wow, that's interesting, you know, him mentioning knowing when to eat and when to drink. And I know that midway through my career, I figured out what worked best for me, okay? And it took a while.
It was not eating, wasn't it? It was not eating.
Actually, I did not like to eat. I had everything blended, everything liquid after I eat breakfast. So I'm telling you, I got the magic recipe.
You know, Bogle's got an experienced hand helping him, though. Robbie Rayner, fellow Oklahoman, is here helping out Bogle today and pushing him into the top 5. We'll be right back. And race ready. Battle is on here for the number 2 spot. Alex Martin on the red bike and the green of Dean Wilson are swapping right now. Wilson has closed the gap on Martin, but I'll tell you what, Alex Martin's 2nd, 3rd, probably doesn't matter. It'd be his first career podium, the first podium finish ever for his team. Just try to keep that thing going. Don't get caught up too much in this battle with Wilson.
Yeah, he's putting in a fine ride, but let's take a look at Dean Wilson's bike here. There's a little bit of steam coming off of that bike.
Wait a minute.
And that is not, to me, it does not look like a situation where he went through a water hole and it hit the exhaust pipe. That is specifically coming out of the one of the overflow tubes, either out of the engine or off of the radiator. That could be a problem as this moto continues.
Wow, and we have seen riders, especially on this monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, have mechanical problems at this track. Explain how the sand, especially when it's muddy, puts more of a strain on the engine.
Well, it puts a huge load on the engine, and so the engine has to work so much harder. So it's harder on the engine, you know, when you're setting the bike up and you're trying to get the maximum horsepower out of it. So it's harder on the piston and the valves and all that stuff. It's also tough on the clutches because you're slipping the clutches and it's really the clutches are having a hard time staying together.
Oh boy, Aaron, you hearing anything on the Pro Circuit team with Wilson right now?
Not at the moment am I hearing anything, but this morning I was informed that they are running bigger radiators and bigger gas tanks because this track is so deep. It means they're trying to keep the bike cool. They're always on the gas. It's always running hot, so we could see an effect from that. But right now, Mitch Payton and the rest of the team are looking on, trying to figure out exactly what's taking place.
Yeah, they're trying to take precautions. So far, so good, though, for Wilson, who's actually just passed Martin to take over second, but the steam is beginning to build.
Yeah, that's definitely overflow out of the radiator. Like she mentioned, they put extra large radiators for more volume of coolant, trying to keep the engine clean because it heats up, because it's constantly, you're on the throttle, okay? So the engine's gonna naturally heat up more. Now, with the sand and the mud and the conditions, sand gets in the radiator louvers, okay, so it doesn't flow as much air through the radiator, so it doesn't cool the coolant as properly as it should. So 6 minutes plus 2 laps for your points leader.
Let's give you the progressive whole shot replay, Jeff. Take us through the start.
Wow, look all the way to the left. There's riders that are just getting cut off instantly, but it's a couple of Kawasaki riders. As it looks like Wilson looks like he's going to be able to get on the brakes, and then Rattray sneaks by on the inside. Martin, Geico Honda rider there on the outside, and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, Martin able to control and really use turn 2 to establish himself in the lead. Has now dropped back to third, but for how long? How long can Dean Wilson's bike in second continue to run? Now, the man closest to Wilson in the point standings was Blake Baggett coming into this one, but Baggett finished 9th in Moto 1, and he is in 9th here in Moto 2. So even if Wilson were to not even finish this thing, he could still maintain the lead, but you do not want to give up chunks of points like this. You'd score 22 points if you finish second. There's a mechanic, Paul Parabinos, got to be concerned right now. Now, Jeff, what would happen? Would we actually stop seeing steam come out if all the coolant water is gone? Would we stop seeing steam first? Is that a bad sign?
Yeah, when we don't see any of that white steam coming out the bottom of this Kawasaki right here, that's going to be a bad sign. But, I mean, I have been really surprised at how long these 4-stroke engines can run without coolant in those overheating situations, as opposed to a 2-stroke, which will seize pretty quickly when it doesn't have the coolant. But, of course, we haven't ran the 2-strokes in a number of years.
Yeah, so we flash back to 2009 when Christophe Pourcel had a similar situation to his bike. Aaron, what do you got?
We just watched Paul Parabinos, Dean Wilson's mechanic, hold out the pit board sign saying save bike to inform him that the bike isn't running correctly, because at this point they don't know if Dean is aware or not. This isn't the first time that Pro Circuit has run into complications or mechanicals here, so they're trying to keep their eye on it.
That is a great point.
Yeah, he just looked down,
but you don't see that necessarily, huh?
Yeah, but I just don't see how there's just certain, you know, okay, going up this hill right here, you have to get on the throttle. Okay, so maybe you're going to coast a little bit here. And maybe you're not maxing it out and you're not over-revving it, but let's take a look right here, this replay. Now watch him look down right now. He's going to look down to see if he can see some steam or some smoke, to try to understand the message that his mechanic Paul put on the pit board. So
probably just saw nothing but the top of the seat in his gas tank, so he might not know.
And right now he's not seeing any steam either, Jason.
Uh-oh, which is a bad sign, right? Is that what established?
In my book.
Okay.
Yep, I would say that that'll not be good. So we're at 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps. The real sign is going to be if the bike starts to slow down, and you'll know it instantly because he'll start looking down and looking around, and there's just nothing he can do except hope for the best and try to ride the bike as gingerly as possible to the finish. But there's, you know, certain sections right here you have to get on the throttle, you know.
And Martin is still running in third, Bogle fourth, Swanepoel in fifth, and Baggett still in ninth. There's your championship points right now. You see Wilson has a huge lead. Rattray overcoming Baggett by virtue of a good first moto and by running strong right now. So Baggett, an off day at the worst time. If Baggett was merely on the podium in these motos, he could have been right back in this championship hunt if Wilson has trouble, but that's not the case. Baggett not able to rally. He's still in ninth.
Yeah, but let me play the devil's advocate here. If Wilson's bike does not finish and Rattray wins this, 25-point swing, depending on where Wilson finishes, because he could be inside the top 20 with this great ride. Take your championship points lead down to 13, and all of a sudden, all 3 riders are back in it.
Yeah, you're right. Because basically it would be a do-over because at our last race, Wilson won the second moto. Rattray crashed out. Wilson made up all the points on him. If Wilson doesn't finish this one and Rattray wins, we'll be right back where we were before Unadilla. But a lot of speculating here because you see the countdown clock. Maybe time is now on Wilson's side. 2 minutes and 2 laps to go in this race. Can Wilson's bike get him to the finish on a racetrack that has broken a lot of equipment over the years? We'll find out soon enough. And Rattray, well done in the lead to try to maximize his championship position and score as many points as possible. You see the team at the side of the track saying, use your head and back it down. And the 1110 Mods folks cheering on Alex Martin in third. They've got to be happy with this. They don't care if second or third. They just want to be on the box. And by the way, yes, these Traxxas trucks are waterproof. You can run them rain or shine. Good times here in the mud. We'll be right back. Wednesday night, the car show with Adam Carolla is all new as Adam takes a wild and painful ride at the Red Bull Soapbox Derby in downtown LA. So don't miss the car show Wednesday nights at 10 Eastern only on Speed, the Motorsports Authority. Here is Blake Baggett, who has slowly but surely climbed through the field. Based on his standards, 7th place. That's not great, but he has a chance to maybe make up some points if Dean Wilson's bike doesn't get to the finish. So far, Wilson's bike is still running. We presume there might be some mechanical troubles. So here's Baggett in 7th.
Yeah, and that standard that he set earlier this year with 8 moto wins, 5 overalls, more than anyone else. Okay, of those 5 overalls, 3 times he swept both motos.
And so usually through the pack, too.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely blowing away the competition.
Right.
And then he would have an off weekend, and then he'd come back and do it again. And he backed it up 2 weekends in a row. But since then, he's been really inconsistent. And I'm not saying that Blake hasn't put out a great effort, because I'm sure that he is doing his very best, and he's working as hard as he can work and doing everything. But the end result here has just not been, I'm sure, what he expected, not what we expected after those moto sweeps. So,
yeah, every time we thought he had it figured out consistently, then he went backwards. And we haven't talked about this guy enough. Your leader, Tyler Rattray, he has been drama-free here at Southwick. Well, no problem with the bike, no problem with the starts, the finishes, nothing, folks. He's got a big lead on with 2 laps to go, and he won this race also last year, so he knows what to do once he's out front.
Yeah, and I wish that all of our viewers could have been at Unadilla after the race. I was visiting with Chad Reed and the whole 22 Motorsports team, and I looked across to the Pro Circuit rig. They're breaking everything down, the tents down, the bikes are in. And here was Tyler Rattray, who suffered a pretty bad crash in Moto 2. Obviously got a concussion. He was sitting in a chair with his head down, and I was trying to put myself in his position. What is he thinking? What is he feeling right now? The disappointment, knowing that that crash has could have put him out of this championship. And also with the concussion, you're not really sure how you're going to respond after that. Sometimes you're all right. Sometimes you're just not really, jiving, and everything's not there. But what a recovery here for the South African Tyler Rattray. I mean, this is his place. So, yeah. I mean,
the sandbox.
The sandbox. He likes to play.
And still well done for his countryman from South Africa, Gareth Swanepoel, who won the first moto, 5th here. Rattray was 2nd in Moto 1 and is leading this one. The 2-1 score will make it an easy overall victory for him. And great memories at this track. Remember a year ago, Rattray and his wife gave birth to a baby girl, Brooke, and Tyler said, it's my job to race. I'm going to have to miss the birth of my first child to come race. And he won the race. And he's going to come back here and do it again. There is Ryan Morris down and out, and Morris was in the top 10. And, man, there's nothing worse than fighting at Southwick through the sand, through the mud, and then a lap to go. He put in all the effort. Yep. You're not going to get the result.
Great effort, but your running order is on the top of the screen. And Wilson right now in 2nd. He was 3rd the first moto. Gannon Audette, who had that great ride, of 4th the first moto, he's up to 17th. And then Tickle, who was 5th the first moto, has worked his way up to 13th after crashing in the first turn.
Yeah, Audette and Tickle working their way forward. There is Wilson. The bike's still running on the last lap, and we have seen heartbreak on the last lap at this track, but it's beginning to look more and more like Wilson may just hold on, and the championship drama, well, it may just be what might have been for Rattray and Baggett. Wilson may not let them back into this championship fight after all.
Yeah, well, Mitch Payton and Pro Circuit have certainly had some disappointing DNFs here, but I'm telling you, this bike makes if Wilson makes it to the finish, it's going to make up for all that disappointment.
Martin trying to hang on to a podium on his privateer machine, but he's got the factory back Geico Honda of Justin Bogle right behind him, and Bogle wants his first career podium in a moto. So Bogle's not going to make it easy on him. It is a wheel-to-wheel duel for the final spot on the stage on the last lap. The roughest race of the year, the worst weather. A little mistake by Bogle allows Martin to get away.
Remember Moto 1, Martin was 10th and Bogle was way back in 18th. Definitely not what we expected from him or what he would have expected from himself. So Bogle hammering the throttle. Could he have got in shape for the 35-minute motos all in 1 week or 2 weeks? Right?
Shows what you guys know. You always say you can't do that. Apparently, he got in shape between the motos.
Yeah.
Go from 18th to 4th and maybe 3rd. Here's Rattray putting the finishing touches on a win that will not look pretty. It was rough, it was muddy, it was sloppy, but he made it look the best out of anyone in the worst conditions. And if it were not for that one crash at Unadilla where he lost a whole bunch of points, he'd be right there in the championship hunt. And I'll tell you what, that's not what we expect from Rattray. We expect this. Solid performances. And Tyler Rattray wins the overall here at Southwick for the 2nd year in a row. You said it, Jeff Emick. This is his place. Man, he owns Southwick.
What a ride. That was just pure determination here by the South African.
Yeah, bouncing back from a wicked crash and a concussion just 2 weeks ago. This guy is tough. We'll talk to him on the podium when we return. Welcome back. On the right side of the screen, you see Tyler Rattray, who has won here at Southwick, Massachusetts, the Rockstar Energy Drink National, round 10 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Let's show you how Rattray won it with your Lucas Oil race recap. Alex Martin had your early lead. Great run by the independently funded privateer Honda rider, but Tyler Rattray just too strong on a track he's just too darn comfortable on. Takes the win. And the Moto 1 winner, Gareth Swanepoel, just before he could put in a charge, goes down, lost a little bit of time there. There's Justin Bogle, who got by him. That allows Bogle to take 4th, Swanepoel in 5th. See the steam coming out of Dean Wilson's machine here, the number 15. We thought that maybe that engine was going to overheat and Wilson wasn't going to get to the finish, but it held on, and so did he. He finishes 2nd, with Rattray taking the win, and Martin holds on for 3rd over Bogle and Swanepoel. So a bunch of happy guys there. Wilson holds on to his points. Podium for Martin and a win for Rattray. Let's send it down to Aaron.
The 4th overall win of the season for Tyler Rattray, which makes it back-to-back wins here at Southwick. Something almost unheard of, Tyler. Any changes that you guys made in between motos to come out even stronger for that last moto of the day?
Oh yeah, Bones definitely. We went in the right direction. I felt really good that moto, riding good, and just can't thank the guys from Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Parts Unlimited, Thor, Van, Voltron, Traxxas, my buddy Mark from Knock 'em Out, and Sequan Casino let me ride the sand track down there and getting ready for Southwick. So just really pumped, you know. Got to thank my wife, and happy birthday to my baby girl and everyone on the team, my mom, my stepdad Wayne, my dad, just everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations on a job well done today.
All right, we'll show you the upcoming schedule here as Toyota helps us move forward. Only 2 races left in 2011. First, Delmont, Pennsylvania next weekend outside of Pittsburgh. And then live, we'll have all the final motos of the year from Pala, California on speed on September the 10th. So 2 weekends, 2 races. That's it for the 2011 series. Who will win the title? Gonna have to keep with us through the finale. Meanwhile, today, no doubt about it, it was Tyler Rattray's.
10 down, 2 to go. The 250 crown is up for grabs as the series heads back to Pennsylvania for Speed same-day coverage of round 11 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Next Saturday, join Jason, Jeff, and Aaron for both 450 and 250 coverage from the Steel City MX.
Here are your top 10 results from the second moto today on a very rainy, a very muddy, a very rough race in Southwick, Massachusetts. Check it out here. Tyler Rattray is going to take the victory. Dean Wilson, despite some apparent engine problems, hangs on for second. Alex Martin, solid run for third. Let's send it back down to the podium with Aaron.
Mayhem was going on, and Dean Wilson wasn't even aware of it at the time. But Dean, your bike started to smoke. Your whole team was watching. At what point did you realize what was going on, and how did you salvage it?
Once I got around Alex, I think it was maybe like halfway mark, the kid writing on the pit board, save the bike, don't rev it. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, I didn't even want to look if it was smoking. You know, I just wanted to focus on the track because the track wasn't the easiest one out there. So about halfway mark, you know, they kept telling me to be calm and don't rev the bike. And so I was like, oh man, I don't want to blow up or nothing, like, you know, how Christoph ended his championship. So, you know, I just milked it pretty much the whole way, and then still salvaged the second, and just really happy. And like to thank everybody, Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Scott Vans, my mum and dad watching at home, Toyo Escondido, Sam that came with me, but he was a big help. Everybody else, thank you so much.
Dean Wilson, he is still your points leader with just 2 rounds left to go.
And here's your overall. Because Wilson's engine did get him to the finish line, you'll see here he didn't lose many points in the day to Rattray, only 5. And nice job, Swanepoel on the podium for the DNA Shred Stick Star Racing Yamaha team. Alex Martin, a great run as well. Let's go back down to the podium.
It happens to mark the first podium ever for Alex Martin. How does this moment rank? How does it feel?
Oh, this definitely ranks up at the top. I mean, pulled the whole shot and just ran away with it for a little bit, and the nerves came up on me, and Rattray got around me, and then Dean Wilson got around me, and I just tried to stay with those 2 guys. And I mean, I've shown flashes of brilliance in the past, but I think I definitely surprised a lot of people today, and definitely thankful to just finally show my potential.
Congratulations on a strong performance and making your way back up here again. Gareth, take us through your day, and what does it mean to overcome everything that you have to be up here on the podium?
Oh, it's just amazing. You know, I've had a tough couple last 2 years, and you know, it's just amazing today. That first moto win was just unreal, and unfortunately the second moto I had a small crash, but I still managed to get on the podium. So third overall, I'm really happy. Just like to say thanks to DNA Shred Stick Yamaha, Scott, Infab, FMF, Enzo, Cosworth, and also just shout out to my friend Christoph over in Germany. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have actually come and raced over in the States. So thanks a lot.
All right, let's show you the series point standings here. Like we said, Wilson limited the damage, so he has a good lead over Rattray and Baggett, who've had a rough go of it the last couple of rounds. Kyle Cunningham holds on to 4th in points over Tomac. And Martin's up in the top 10 now. All right, Jeff. I don't think we expected Southwood to be quite this wild, even though it usually is crazy.
Drama all the way. I mean, just a fantastic. You've seen if you just stay in and you keep trying, what can happen. We've seen some incredible rides today.
Right. So congratulations to our 450 winner, Brett Metcalf, our 250 winner, Tyler Rattray. And thanks to you for watching. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Femick, I'm Jason Wygant. We'll see you next week.